I declare the congregation open. Members of the university, guests, and especially all of you graduating here today, it's an enormous pleasure to be able to welcome you on what is a very special day here at Lancaster University. We're here to celebrate the achievements of our students from the Faculty of Health and Medicine and the Faculty of Science and Technology. It's really wonderful to see you all here today. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to our honorary graduate, Sarah Hall, our Alumni Award winner, Professor Naveen Salins, and our Chancellor's medalists, about all of whom we will hear more later in the ceremony. I'm particularly delighted to see so many family and friends of our students here today. I know that you will be feeling justifiably proud of what your friend or your relative has achieved. So degree ceremonies, while formal occasions, are also events to be enjoyed. So I would encourage you, when your friend or your relative, your special one, comes on stage, feel free to clap, jump, cheer, whoop, cry, if you have to. This is a day of celebration. And I dare say for some of you, that might well extend into the night. I can say that from experience. I graduated here in 1979, when Lancaster, believe me, was a very different place from the one that you have been in. For a start, it was much smaller. It was about half the size. So today you're in a much bigger university, but frankly, you're in a far better one. In fact, nowadays it's so good that if I applied, I'd definitely not get in. In every major UK league table, we're ranked in the top 12 out of 120 universities in our country, and we're in the top 10 in the Complete University Guide. Lancaster, importantly, is ranked joint third in the country for research intensity by the Complete University Guide. That is based on the percentage of our academic staff actively working on cutting-edge research. There are only two universities that are ahead of us. One is Cambridge and the other is Oxford. So we don't rest on our laurels. Our ambition is to be in the top 100 universities worldwide, and we continue to make progress towards that. For me, the wonderful thing about Lancaster is, despite this track record of success, there is one thing that remains constant from my time and your time, and that is that we stay true to our founding principles, that this should be a university open to all with talent and potential. At Lancaster, excellence hasn't been bought at the expense of equity. We provide opportunities for students, regardless of their backgrounds in life, to realise their aspirations. And at a time when there's often such overwhelming pessimism about the potential for achieving greater social mobility in our country, ours truly is a story of optimism. Lancaster's philosophy is simple. What counts is not where you came from in the past, but whether you're prepared to put in the effort to create a better future for yourselves and hopefully for others. Today we celebrate the fact that each and every one of you have seized that opportunity. Postgraduate graduation ceremonies like today's are an opportunity to recognise the significant commitment that each of you has given to your chosen field of study. Frankly, the collective brain power in front of me is somewhat awe-inspiring. But what is even more impressive, I think, is the individual effort and endeavour that is the foundation of your success. Some of you have studied intensively for years to achieve your degree. Others have combined their studies with their job or with family or with caring responsibilities. Of course, what you have learned here, you will carry throughout your lives. If you studied computing, you may well decide to build a career in IT. If you studied management, you may well go into business. If you studied politics, then frankly, heaven help you. But I think what you will find is that what you have acquired here is more than knowledge about a particular subject. For myself as a graduate from this university, Lancaster will always be the place that gave me the strongest possible foundation for my life and my career. It helped me on my way from growing up as a kid on a North East Council estate and having the privilege of serving in the UK's cabinet. My time here was a gift. It gave me skills way beyond my studies. How to learn, how to analyse, how to argue, how to question. It taught me too the relationship between effort and reward. If it's easy, it isn't really worth doing. It's the hard things in life that make you. And as you now all know, there are no easy postgraduate degrees here at Lancaster. Everyone has to be earned through commitment, through dedication, and by just sheer hard work. So today, we celebrate the fact that each of you has proven that you have not just got the intelligence, but you also have the resilience to rise to a challenge and to beat it. That is just as well, because the world is certainly not short of challenges. This is a period of profound global uncertainty, even volatility. It is being christened by some the era of permacrisis, and it sometimes does feel that the world simply lurches from one crisis to the next. But I think it's actually more than that. Someone very wise said to me recently, "Today is the slowest day of the rest of your life." What did they mean by that? What he meant is it's not just the extraordinary scale of technological, environmental, social, economic, political change that we're living through. It's the unprecedented pace with which it is happening. Navigating it to create a better and, I hope, a fairer world requires one thing above all else, and that is great leadership. No doubt there will be different views in this room about whether their world is blessed with that today, but I hope what we can all agree on is that the people we celebrate today, our graduates, are our biggest source of hope for the future, because from you will emerge the next generation of leaders. What we seek to do here at Lancaster is to equip our postgraduate students with the right attributes to make a difference in the world, to be agile in their thinking, purposeful in their focus, and outward-looking in their demeanour. That is why Lancaster will and always will be a university that is open to the world. We believe in building bridges, not walls. We have a campus in China, another in Ghana, one in Malaysia, one in Leipzig in Germany, and our latest in Indonesia. We're unashamedly a global university. We're particularly proud of the fact that we welcome here on campus students from over 180 countries worldwide, and that our staff come from all parts of the globe. The rich diversity they provide not only brings huge benefits educationally, it prepares our students for life in what is increasingly a global society. So today you join a very special community. Like over 170,000 others, you're about to become alumni of this great university. Ours is a community that expresses the very best of today's world. High achievers, great thinkers, top leaders, people who make a difference in communities, both local and global, in industry and in charity, in private companies and the public services. You come from very different backgrounds and no doubt will end up living and working in very different locations. But in the end, you're part of a community, all bound together by one common history. So when you leave here, you will take something of Lancaster with you. The friends you made, the tutors you've met, the knowledge you have gained, what you have learned from your studies. But above all, I hope what you take away from Lancaster is what you've learned about yourselves. That if you persevere, it pays off. That if you follow your dreams, you can rise to a higher level. That if you listen to your hearts, you can achieve great things. Of course, there are never any guarantees in life, but the one thing I can promise you is that the degree you have earned from this university is a passport, should you choose to use it, to a lifetime of opportunity. Each of you has proved that you have what it takes to make a success of life. So my advice to you is very simple. Be bold, be brave, believe in yourselves, but above all else, use the knowledge you have gained to make a difference, not just for yourself, but for others. The best that any of us can ever do in life is to try to leave the world a better place than we found it. That is the gift that leadership bestows. I hope you use it, and I hope you use it wisely. On behalf of this great university, I wish you all the very best, each of you, for whatever path you choose. Enjoy it. You've well and truly earned it. Thank you.
Please may all graduates from the Faculty of Health and Medicine stand if they are able to do so. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present these members at the Faculty of Health and Medicine who are worthy to receive higher degrees and diplomas of the university. For each of the PhD and Deakin Sci graduates, I will be saying the name followed by the thesis title, so please hold off your applause until the full name and title has been read out. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Jessica Bridgen, Social Contact Patterns during the COVID-19 Pandemic, Implications for Infection Control. Tiernan Briggs, the development of a cell cycle biosensor for use in animal models. Lauren Amy Buckley-Benbow, abrogating the G2M checkpoint to enhance DNA-damaging therapies. Emily Victoria Clayton, investigating the innate immune systems of bats and their roles as zoonotic viral reservoirs. Nicholas Bartholomew Davison, glucose sensing using near-infrared spectroscopy. William Dowd, essays on the economics of increasing public naloxone availability to reduce overdose deaths. Giselle Edge, characterization of the RNA processing factor CYP29. David Fassiams, investigating perceptions of well-being during the work capability reassessment process. Nadia Iqbal, pleural fat-associated lymphoid clusters contribute to the tumour immune microenvironment. Jane Lowers, experiences of caregivers to someone who's voluntarily stopped eating and drinking to hasten death. Maria Luca, alexithymia and illness perceptions in multiple sclerosis. Adam Mars, Searching for Wellbeing, Men's Engagement with Social Prescribing. Toby John Baker Marshall, Purification of the ALS-associated protein TDP43 and TDP43 aggregation inhibitor development. Rachel Mountain, Exploring Chronic Respiratory Disease Care Using Statistical Modelling and Routine Data. For the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology, Vicky Barnett, Self-Concept, Clarity, Body Image and Restrictive Eating Disorders. Rebecca Bennett, The Impact of Games on Wellbeing in Autism. Suzanne Berry, The Occupational Wellbeing of the Ambulance Workforce, a Systematic Review and Metasynthesis. Amy Breed, The Psychosocial Impact of Living with Adult Cyclical Vomiting Syndrome. Katie Brooks, Self-Compassion and Social Support in Carers of People with Neurodegenerative Motor Conditions. Katrina Brown, How to Effectively Utilize the Therapeutic Relationship to Support People with Psychosis. Callum John Cairns, More Than a High, Exploring Pleasure and Investigating Components of Wellbeing in Chemsex. Sadia Chowdhury, Clinical Psychologist Experiences of Using Belief-Based Language as Part of Therapy. Keanu Court, The Experience of Romantic Relationship, Sexuality and Intimacy Following Limb Loss. Phoebe Dale, An Exploration of the Eating Disorder Voice Continuum and its Impact on Recovery. Jade Laura Dalton, Personality Disorder and Autism, Lived Experiences of Secondary Mental Health Services. Eskander Cayley Gordon, Exploring the Experiences of Children with Limb Difference and Their Prosthesis. Bethan Elizabeth Morgan Gray, Interpersonal, Intrapersonal and Contextual Factors Related to Self-Injury. Jennifer Marie Grayling, Psychological Distress and Sleep Apnea. Serena Hanna, Experiences of Trainees Sharing Their Own Mental Health Difficulties in Supervision. Amara Hack, Living with Cognitive Difficulties, Experiences of Long COVID and Traumatic Brain Injuries. Ruth Kitchen, Spousal Caregiving for Stroke, Experiences of the Pandemic. Katie Knott, Psychological Safety, NHS Organisational Factors and Experiences of Operating Theatre Teams. Sian Limford Downs, Psychological Wellbeing in UK Mental Health Staff. Ren Elliott Little, Concepts of Self, Others and Suicidality in People with Experiences of Psychosis. Nicola Jane Richards, The Qualitative Exploration of Experiences of Suicide Attempts and Memories of Suicide Attempts. Hannah Richardson, A Qualitative Exploration of Stroke Identity and Person-Centered Rehabilitation. Hannah Riley, Health Visitors' Experiences and Understanding of Assessing Perinatal Mental Health. Sarah Roberts, Experiences of Stigma and the Eating Disorder Voice. Sadie Roddle, Experiences of Supporting a Sibling with Psychosis and Voice Hearing. Sharon Sandhu, The Experiences of Staff Working with Vulnerable Populations. Holly Sidaway, Navigating the Health Seas, Experiences of Accessing PrEP on the National Health Service. Sonali Varma, Barriers to Access of Mental Health Services in the UK, Stories of Bangladeshi Women. Crystal Webster, Trans Women Just Look Out for Ourselves, Experiences of HIV Care in Sexual Health Clinics. Sarah Yates, Appearance, Concerns and Psychosocial Functioning for Female Melanoma Survivors. Paris Pak-Chin Young, Broadening Understanding and Working Therapeutically with Sexual Minority Young People. For the degree of Master of Science, Abdullah Abdullah. Sarah Ruth Brighton. Karen Gillian Busby. Christopher Andrew Dearden. Hong Ji Ie. Ellie Victoria Brown. Bethany Grace Frank. Kirsty Alice Hodges Young. Jerry Jose. Brawin Ajay Kajenthra. Fasi Kanayarakal Patayama Parambil. Natalia Noasad. Lisa Rachel Obi. Sammy Louis Padley. Connor Alexander Robertson. Gauri Subramanian. Ai Chen Sai. Hong Yu Zhu. For the degree of Master of Science by Research, Chloe Catherine Dewars. Robert Alexander Stockdale. For the award of postgraduate diploma, Samit Sadat Chowdhury. Laura Walker. Please may all graduates from the Faculty of Health and Medicine stand if they are able to do so.
By my authority as Chancellor, I confer upon these members of the Faculty of Health and Medicine the degrees and awards for which they have been presented. Many, many congratulations to you all. Well done.
Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I here present to you Sarah Hall for conferral of the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Sarah Hall is an outstanding and multi-award-winning contemporary novelist. She is a Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature, has twice been nominated for the Man Booker Prize, and in 2013 was included in the highly prestigious Granta Best Young British Novelists list. Sarah's body of work bears witness to her strong links with the North West, especially Cumbria and the Lake District, where she was born and brought up. Indeed, Sarah's fiction fuses a twin fascination with the poetics of space and place and the shaping power of history. Her writing engages with major ethical questions whilst evoking a vividly sharp, sensuously acute set of worlds. Of Sarah's 6 novels published to date, a number feature a sustained focus on the geography and people of the region. As a writer, she, like a number of her characters, frequently returns to home territory. Haweswater, published in 2002, and winner of, among other awards, the 2003 Commonwealth Writers' Prize for Best First Novel, evokes the vanishing agricultural life of the Dales of Westmoreland of the 1930s. The Electric Michelangelo, published in 2004, which received the first of her 2 of her nominations for the Man Booker Prize, is partly set in Morecambe Bay. The Cahulian Army, 2007, a dystopian state-of-the-nation narrative, is set in the Cumbrian Fells. Retitled Daughters of the North for its publication in the United States, the novel is widely regarded as a classic of 21st century speculative fiction. A recurrent focus of Sarah's work is human exploitation of the landscape and damage to the environment in the name of progress. the dire consequences for flora and fauna and for human communities of this greedy and self-serving misuse of nature is traced in her precise, distinctive prose. For example, The Wolf Border, Sarah's fifth novel, about a project to rewild the fells on a Cumbrian estate, she offers a critique of human pride that I described in a review at the time as both tender and scrupulously tough about human folly. Her seventh novel, Helm, to be published in 2025, like its predecessors, it will be published by Faber and Faber, takes place in the Eden Valley, close to her childhood home, and returns to her strong commitment to ecological themes. Sarah is also a highly accomplished writer of short fiction. She has the unique distinction of winning the prestigious BBC Short Story Award twice, for Mrs. Fox in 2013 and The Grotesques in 2020. Sarah is a distinguished educator and has served as Professor of Practice at the University of Cumbria, amongst many other teaching roles. My writing, she says, is often unresolved. For me, writing feels like an inquiry, Sarah told the Guardian newspaper in 2022. This spirit of inquiry, of openness to challenge, to uncertainty, is one of the attributes that make Sarah Hall such a vital and important writer. Chancellor, it is my particular privilege to present to you, on behalf of the Senate, Sarah Hall, for conferral of the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
By my authority as Chancellor. I'll say that again. By my authority as Chancellor. Sounded better the second time. I think, yeah. Getting better at this. I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Many congratulations. Wonderful to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Fellow members of the University, honoured guests and graduates, workers, carers, dreamers, students of life. I'm enormously privileged to be here today and would like to thank the University for this tremendous honour. I never expected it. Well, I never expected to be a writer. That's the truth of it. When I started out about 30 years ago now, at Aberystwyth University and then St Andrews, creative writing was only really just taking off. And there were only about 4 courses where you could take it, Lancaster among them. It was one of the first, if not the first, I think, creative writing programme in the country. And it was a huge influence on me, finding out that you could study writing, creative writing, not just reading and analysing books. And from that moment on, I knew I wanted to do it and kept going. I'm from the Northwest, as Andrew talked about. Thank you very much for those kind words as well. And the Northwest has always been very important in my work. I've circled around Lancaster in many of my novels. Morecambe Bay, probably the closest. Perhaps I need to set a novel in Lancaster and then the deal will be done. But it's always been a very important region for me. And when I started out, when I was first published, as a Cumbrian writer, it seemed that regional fiction was a kind of marginalised thing at that point. The publishing industry was very London-based. And in this 25 years that I've been published, the landscape of British fiction has really opened out, and regional writing is no longer regional writing. It's just part of the strong landscape of British writing. So it's wonderful to see that change. But nevertheless, Northwest has always been a lodestar for me in terms of inspiration. And although I can see that a number of graduates here have travelled very far to study in Lancaster, I do hope that the Northwest has provided something of an inspiration for you as well, and that you'll disperse like wolves to create your own pack and do your own thing, back to wherever you're from or wherever you're going to, but that somehow the Northwest will have imprinted something good on you. I was looking through the set of values that Lancaster University holds, and thinking about it in relation to my own work. And the thing that really struck me more than anything else was the idea of creating a positive change with what you do. We can probably ask what use is fiction other than to entertain us. But I do believe fiction can create worlds where politics can be discussed, change can be discussed, radical ideas can be staged. And I hope that I've done that in small part, whether it's a woman in an army resisting a despotic regime, or the notion of rewilding Britain, bringing back apex predators, making the environment more healthy. I hope I've always tried to discuss positive change in my work. I'm so impressed hearing some of the fields of study here today. I think we can be a little bit depressed often these days, but just hearing some of these areas of study and the positive hope that they may bring, the contribution to research, and just hope, basically, that we're going to improve society and all the aspects of society. It's incredibly inspiring to hear about these things. And I wish all the graduates well. There might be some fiction writers in there. I especially wish you well. Stick at it. Wherever you go after Lancaster, there's one lovely northern phrase that I think is nice to bring up now, and that is bloom wherever you are planted. And I hope that's what you will do. Congratulations to you all, and thanks again to the university for this tremendous honour. Thank you.
Chancellor, I present to you Professor Naveen Salins for the Award of Outstanding Alumnus of the Year. Naveen is a distinguished member of an alumni community which, as we have heard, numbers over 170,000 members across the globe. As we recognise his achievements through this award, we also acknowledge and celebrate the wider successes of all Lancaster graduates and the important part they continue to play in the life of our university. Naveen Salins is a professor in palliative medicine and supportive care at the Biomedical College in Manipal, India. He's head of his department and also the college's associate dean for research. In 2015, while serving as a consultant in palliative care in Mumbai, India, Naveen took the decision to study part-time for a PhD with Lancaster University, drawn by the institution's international reputation for palliative care research. This respect was mutual, and colleagues in health and medicine were delighted to have the opportunity to work with a student who is operating at a senior level in end-of-life care. Already regarded as a leader in palliative care in India, Naveen's influence expanded when he assumed his current role in 2018. This position came with a very high degree of responsibility and visibility when considering the significant number of patients with advanced, incurable cancers in India, which in turn results in a high demand for palliative care services and extreme pressure on relevant medical services. To give an idea of the scales Naveen is dealing with, his hospital alone has 2,400 inpatient beds, more than 3 times and almost 4 times as many as the equivalent for our entire Morecambe Bay NHS Foundation Trust. The conditions he and his colleagues faced were already challenging, but these grew dramatically with the onset of the COVID pandemic. Alongside a massive increase in his day-to-day duties, Naveen played a leading role in formulating the national guidelines for the palliative care response in India. The second wave of the pandemic intensified his clinical responsibilities even further, particularly in the ICU, where he led a groundbreaking initiative to address the reluctance among ICU doctors to withdraw futile treatment due to fears of litigation. Naveen worked with his Lancaster supervisor, Professor Nancy Preston, on a study with ICU doctors across India to develop an intervention which included addressing the potential legal issues. Having created the process, Naveen then piloted it in his own hospital, demonstrating its efficacy by reducing the mean length of stay in the ICU from 15 days to 9, with major cost savings for patients, many of whom in India pay out of pocket. The findings from this research contributed to a landmark 2023 Indian Supreme Court ruling on withdrawal of treatment. Naveen went on to conduct a national survey revealing that less than a third of the 350 cancer centres in India had developed palliative care services. Through a Lien Foundation-funded project, he facilitated the major achievement of establishing 49 additional palliative care centres across India. He's also served as the lead for the Lancet Commission on the humanitarian crisis in palliative care for cancer, inviting colleagues at Lancaster to continue their collaboration with him by participating in this important project. Naveen's prolific academic contributions include over 90 peer-reviewed publications, including 10 with Lancaster academics, 50 clinical research projects, and editorial positions, including with the Indian Journal of Palliative Care. His commitment to train students in palliative care is reflected in the pivotal role he's played in creating the curriculum for the relevant medical courses in India. And he's held academic and honorary roles at Northwestern University in the United States and with the universities of Cardiff and Hull in the UK. This commitment to raising standards of palliative care across the globe has been recognised by a number of international awards, including last year's European Association for Palliative Care Clinical Award and the Cynthia Go Award for advancing palliative care in the Asia-Pacific region. Naveen Salin's many achievements should act as a reminder of the success that is possible with commitment and dedication. Our world faces many challenges, more indeed than when each of you first arrived at Lancaster. When you leave here today, you'll have the chance to make a real difference by putting the things you've learned to good use. Whatever path you choose, whatever opportunities and obstacles you face, please take inspiration from Naveen and many other alumni like him and be the best that you can be for yourselves, your families, and the wider communities in which you live and work. Chancellor, it is my particular honour to present Naveen Salins for the award of Outstanding Alumnus of the Year. In proceedings, we have a first for our ceremonies at Lancaster. Naveen has yet to receive his PhD. So as well as being recognised for his outstanding work with this Alumni Award, we're delighted to give him this chance to formally graduate alongside you. So as for the other PhDs, I will first share Naveen's thesis before I hope you'll give him a big round of applause. Chancellor, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Naveen Salins, oncologists' and haematologists' views on what facilitates or hinders referral of a child with advanced cancer to palliative care in India.
The Honorable Chancellor, fellow members of the University, distinguished faculty, graduating students, parents and families, and honored guests. It's an immense honor to stand before you today as the recipient of the Outstanding Alumni Award from the Lancaster University. To say that I am humbled would be an understatement, and I cannot express how deeply grateful I am to the university for this recognition. This moment means more to me than words can convey, and I am proud and privileged to be here, celebrating not only my own journey, but also the remarkable achievements of all the graduating students in this room. Before I begin, I would like to extend my heartiest congratulations to all of you, the graduates, Whether you're receiving the master's or your doctorate, this is an extraordinary achievement, one that represents years of dedication, hard work, and sacrifice. Today, you stand at the threshold of new beginnings, filled with possibilities, and I truly believe Lancaster has equipped you with the knowledge, the tools, and the mindset to make a difference in the world. I stand before you today as an alumnus and someone who has experienced firsthand the incredible support and opportunities that Lancaster University provides. My own journey was not without its struggles, but it was here that I found the encouragement and mentorship that enabled me to overcome most of these challenges. When I first arrived in Lancaster in 2015, it wasn't under the easiest circumstances. In fact, my decision to pursue a PhD was often met with skepticism. Why would a clinician like you want to pursue a PhD? My peers would ask. Truth be told, I often asked myself the same question, especially in those first few months when everything felt overwhelming. The transition from clinical practice to the world of research was not seamless. It was more like trying to drive a car in reverse while learning how to steer at the same time. I remember those first weeks, my confusion about the research world, my struggle to fit in, and the discomfort of unlearning so much what I've been trained to believe. I felt like a long, steep climb. And as in the case with all journeys, there were moments of self-doubt. And that is where the support of the Lancaster University faculty became vital. It wasn't just about the lectures and assignment, but about mentorship, encouragement, and emotional supports. My supervisors, Professor Nancy Preston and Dr. Sean Hughes, plays a huge central role in my journey. Their guidance went before academia. They offered empathy, patience, and motivation when life felt particularly tough. In fact, there were moments when our supervision sessions with my mentors didn't even touch on my research. We simply talked about life. During those moments, I truly understood what mentorship is. It's about being there for someone, offering guidance, and offering a shoulder to lean on when the going gets tough. We in palliative care call it the accompanying presence, the hopeful presence, the calming and comforting presence. My mentors were all these. It was a magnificent journey that I'll always fondly cherish. Lancaster didn't just prepare me academically, but it made me resilient. Here to all the graduates, I want to reiterate the power of presence that the university could offer. I completed my thesis during the peak of COVID-19 pandemic while working as a clinician, managing the stress of uncertainty and coping with the immense loss that the pandemic caused. It was a monumental challenge. However, the resilience and positivity that I found at Lancaster, combined with the invaluable support from my mentors, helped me push through. The experience I gained at Lancaster led to my PhD completion and also opened doors that I never imagined. I went on to secure a position at my current university as Associate Dean of Research, a role in which I'm able to pass on the mentorship and support I received here to others. The research ecosystem I helped to build in my medical school owes much of its success to the foundation that Lancaster provided me. The skills, the learnings, and the ways of thinking I developed at Lancaster have now become pillars of my professional career. Even after my PhD, Lancaster continued to be a partner in my research. Together, we worked on impactful studies. My opportunities and collaborations since graduation resulted from the incredible network and resources Lancaster provided. It included successful grants and joint publication. And Dr. Catherine Walsh and Dr. Nancy Preston and I were part of the prestigious Lancet Commission on Human Crisis of Cancer. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank my family and my institute back home. The support of my wife, Shirley, and my son, Andrew, was my anchor. While consumed by the demands of research and clinical work, Shirley's unwavering support allowed me to focus on completing my thesis. My very small son then, in his innocent way, encouraged me to continue. It gave me the strength to persevere through the most challenging moments. My parents and in-laws also had a great role to play. I would like to thank my administration back home in India, the Biomedical College, Manipal, and the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, who permitted and facilitated to pursue my academic goal within my employment by granting administrative approvals, leaves, and providing me with a cover for my clinical work. They were understanding, accommodative, and constantly encouraged me throughout the journey. I'm very grateful to the Manipal administration for every support they provided. To the graduating students here, I leave you with a piece of advice that I learned through my journey. Life isn't just about finding meaning or purpose, it's about inventing it for yourself. In every stage of my journey, whether in the clinic, the classroom, or in the middle of the chaos that was 2020, I had to redefine my purpose continually. It wasn't easy. Sometimes it was painful. I always felt that the act of creating meaning and purpose is far more fulfilling than living with uncertainty or not knowing. So don't be afraid to invent new purposes for yourself. Explore different paths and change course if needed. The world needs thinkers, doers, and creators, and you as graduates of Lancaster have been equipped with the knowledge, passion, and resilience to make a difference. So go out there, take risks, and make things happen. As I conclude, I want to express my profound gratitude to Lancaster University for giving me the tools and support that transformed my life. This is truly a place where you can build the future you desire. Congratulations again to all the graduates today. The world is waiting for you. Godspeed and thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Please may all graduands from the Faculty of Science and Technology stand if they are able to do so. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present these members of the Faculty of Science and Technology who are worthy to receive higher degrees of the university. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Elliot Ball, using quantum resources for security and computation. Jeremy Carter, statistical approaches for improving estimates of Antarctic climatology. Thomas Matthew Cornish, the environments of extreme star-forming galaxies across cosmic time. Ryan Cross, data science and neutrino physics, improving the Pandora reconstruction framework at June. Eleanor Darcy, extreme value modelling to protect and maintain critical infrastructure from natural hazards. Matthew Darlington, the Border Patrol game. Jamie Kieran Dunmain, using next-generation telescopes to classify supernovae. Isabella Lillian Mary Garland, bar-driven AGN growth. Rebecca Ashley Gregson, plant-based diets and the social cultural millennium. Rebecca Hall, self-regulation and type 1 diabetes, links to disorder eating and condition management. Zachary Hall, structures in the Burnside ring of prophenite groups. Samuel James Stewart Harley, experimental characterization of molecular junctions via scanning probe microscopy. Amelia Chiamaka Akano Edike, methods for evaluating dynamic fracture toughness of metals at high loading rates. Didar Karadog Akaya, ontogeny of teaching behavior in early childhood. Menai Ruby Lamers James, development of an antineutrino photon sample for T2K and studies for hyperkamayakande. Yuzhen Liu, terahertz ultra-fast spectroscopy paradigms. Grace Mackenzie, hiding in plain sight, a Turing test on fake persona spotting. James Henry Newton, topologically protected solitons in graphene. Fatima Nasri Esfahani, high power density onboard chargers for electric vehicles. David Patrick Orion, the relation between galaxy evolution and galaxy interaction. Elise Jiska Oosterhuis, neurobiological and lifestyle contributions to word-finding abilities in healthy aging. Cameron James Patterson, modelling the impacts of space weather on UK railway signalling systems. Becky Penhale-Jones, development of thermoelectrically efficient thin films for green energy applications. Thomas Pinder, developments in Gaussian processes with applications to climate science and network problems. Srushti Putcha, scalable Bayesian inference using stochastic gradient Markov chain Monte Carlo. Matthew James Roberts, process parameter and thermal optimization of multi-laser metal wire additive manufacturing. Hamish Peter Thorburn, models for sequential sorting faculty staff allocation. Heather Phoenix Wade, surveying star formation from the epoch of reionization to the local universe. Zhongming Zhang, thickness design and radiation resistance of wide bandgap semiconductor neutron detectors. For the degree of Master of Philosophy, Christine Rauber Oliveira. For the degree of Master of Research, Christina Bratkova. Kajal Sanja Dahia. Lauren Elizabeth Durrell. Christina Grolmuzova. Joe Connor Rutherford. For the degree of Master of Science, Joe Boothroyd. Joseph William Caldwell. Mohammed Hussein G.M. Chikalia. Hannah Elizabeth Clough. Georgie Francis Comerford. Jordan John Crossland. Elia Ray Dawson. George Nicholas Dell. Dhruti Desai. Laurie Dixon. Nathan James Faulkner. James Michael Godfrey. Oliver Edward Chi. Luke Edward Farley. Amy Sharon Grime. Alexandra Tate Haslam. Wing Lam Michelle Khan. Liana Louise Keeble. Chloe Elizabeth Kittis. Eleanor Sarah Little. Joshua David Longmore. Victoria Christina Lopez Ditmar. Abby Elizabeth Lutton. Chloe Louise Massey. Katie May Nichol. John Kenahide Olafemi Iwal. Jihan Fridosh Patel. Molly Grace Pugh. Beatrice Alexandra Quinn. Tejavita Rajawat. Thomas William Ratford. Anusha Sandeep. Abigail Elaine Stevenson. Michael Teshome Teklia Harness. Melanie Thomas. Charlotte Rosemary Thompson. Alicia Houghton Turner. Audred O'Hare Ansheta Visaya. And for the degree of Master of Science by Research, Andrew Michael Smalley. Please may all graduands from the Faculty of Science and Technology stand if they are able to do so.
By my authority as Chancellor, I confer upon these members of the Faculty of Science and Technology the degrees for which they've been presented. Many, many congratulations to you all. Well done.
Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present the following students who are eligible to receive the Chancellor's Medal for exceptional merit in their programmes of study. Ellie Victoria Brown. Oliver Edward Chi. Luke Edward Farley.
I now declare closed this congregation of the University of Lancaster. Long may the university prosper.